Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness. I am so delighted you're here with me today. And today I thought, since I talked about the North Node in your astrology chart, that today I would talk about the South Node, because the North Node and the South Node work together. On the previous podcast episode, I mentioned that the North Node is actually your destiny node. It tells you where you're headed, where you're going, what you came here to learn. It's all about your destiny. Your South Node is all about where you've been. So the South Node can actually tell us what past life traumas or past life lessons we're bringing with us. It tells us our karmic path. So the South Node actually tells us what gifts we bring into this lifetime from our past. And it also tells us where our comfort zone is. We will be just innately good in these areas of our life, and we may begin our early path based on our South Node learnings, because this is what we bring with us already into this life. And although you can have a sense of satisfaction from that feeling of been there, done that, the South Node is merely a springboard, because we are supposed to be moving into our destiny in this lifetime, which is what we find in our North Node. So the South Node is your horoscope hometown. It's not someplace we want to stay for long, because we never really want to stay in our comfort zone. It's all about coming here and learning and growing and expanding, but it is a nice place to go back to when we want to feel a sense of comfort. So we can use this information about our South Node to learn the past that we bring with us. We all have past lives, or at least that's my belief. And people that were born within our same lunar node group are like our soul tribe. We incarnated with them to learn the same lessons. So I am going to talk today about what each South Node represents in a specific sign. Now, if you don't know your South Node, again, you can simply go and do a Google search, and there are free birth charts out there which will tell you what your North and South Node are. You just have to know your birth date, the time you were born, and the place you were born. Those things are important. If you don't know the exact time, you just put in there's a button on the one site that I use that said don't know. But as accurate as you can be, you need the day, the month, the year, and the time you were born, and also the place. So they use that to come up with your birth chart. And so now we're going to go through the specific signs, and we're going to start with the South Node in Aries. This is the South Node that I have in particular. So what does having the South Node in Aries tell you? The major themes of this particular sign's South Node is leadership, action, drive, motivation, new beginnings, initiation, power. This combination indicates that individuals who have this combination, they were likely involved with leading, management, launching projects, making decisions. Also, it indicates that the people who also have the South Node in Aries are ethical, dignified, righteous, and prosperous in their undertakings in past lives. As a direct result, they mastered the traits and characteristics associated with the Aries zodiac sign. They're blessed with natural talents, benefits, and traits of the Aries zodiac in the present life. These traits include great leadership skills, immense courage, unshakable blind faith, strong intuition, protection from evil, spiritual evolution, high determination, and the ability to make clear decisions. But this also indicates that you could have in a past life experienced shattered dreams or scattered dreams and failures due to lack of dignity, So there are many wounds of the soul that have been carried to this present incarnation. This particular South Node that has come here to learn that in order to be successful in their current life, it's crucial to heal those past wounds that had to do with failure. So that's pretty interesting. Next, we have the South Node in Taurus. Now, my sun sign is in Taurus, but my South Node is in Aries. So the South Node in Taurus means that you are fiery, spiritual, detached, selfless, intuitive, blindly courageous, daring, and also healing. There is an immense, strong, earth, like down-to-earth presence because you are an earth sign. So it's fixed. You are reliable, realistic, and generous. People who have a South Node in Taurus, though, can often be arrogant and harsh and instinctual, and they have a tendency to rely on no one else but themselves and to follow their own ways, as well as holding on to their possessions and to their old habits. So they want a secure life, so crisis situations make them terrified. They are afraid to let go, so they hold tightly to people and things. They can have problems when it comes to relationships because they can't see how much others are worth and expect them to have the same value as them. They don't feel they necessarily need a partner. They need only to appreciate how to value true friendship and how important closeness is for security. That's very interesting. Next, we have the South Node in Gemini. If you have a South Node in Gemini, you may have a very busy mind, many relationships, and a need to gather information. You may talk a lot, and you need to make your ideas fit others' perspectives. You also may spend a lot of time at social events trying to discover what's true about your relationships. People with South Node in Gemini may feel confused or superficial. It indicates there's a person who can't commit to just one issue. So you may feel like you are all over the place. So you have to learn how to trust your inner voice, especially if you want to find purpose in life. You may be very confused by decisions because they may seem too logical, and you may miss adventure that's laid in front of you. You can also refuse to pay attention to your own visions. People with the South Node in Gemini tend to overload themselves with information instead of just trusting their own intuition, because it's like they're always seeking to find validation and from others, and also trying to figure out who they truly are themselves. Next is the South Node in Cancer. People who have a South Node in Cancer are family-oriented, and they're looking to feel emotionally secure, but they can have difficulties developing their professional life. And that's because they're too detached when it comes to work. They can be overly attached to their youngest years, holding on too much to others and avoiding taking any responsibility. They are responsible, precise, and ambitious, but they can also be selfish, bitter, and conceited. They may fear getting rejected to the extreme, and so they miss out on opportunities where they focus too much on anxieties and worries. One of the big lessons for this particular node in the South is letting go of angst and worries. Try to take charge and be responsible. Sometimes people with this particular South Node can blame their past without thinking too much, instead of looking what's causing them to feel insecure at the present moment and what's the source of the emotions that they're having. And this can impede them from moving forward and being self-reliant. Next, we have the South Node in Leo. People who have the South Node in Leo are meant to have a great impact on the lives of those around them, and they make everything more beautiful and fun and are there for people in difficult times. People born with the South Node in Leo have a superior air, and they may isolate themselves from others because they think they are very special no matter their circumstances. So they are sociable, lucky, talented, and inspirational, but they also may be stubborn, overly dramatic, and emotional. It can be said that they are supposed to learn how to leave behind their egotistical side in order to make new friends. They are best at standing out from the crowd. Many of the people who have a South Node in Leo are the life of the party. The energy is all about performing, and they usually want to make others happy. But they can also be perceived as arrogant, so they have to find a balance and find a way to fit into groups without always having to try to stand out. Next, we have South Node in Virgo. People with a South Node in Virgo usually have a wider view of the world than most people and are often ones who come up with visionary perspective and inspire their peers. The South Node in Virgo is all about memories of childhood and past life emotions. They are loyal, attentive, and charming, but they can be individualistic, anxious, and obstinate. The South Node placement is all about what's been forgotten, and it can make people in this particular South Node feel like they just woke up from dreams they no longer remember. So if you have this particular South Node, you may have trouble remembering and connecting to your childhood or past memories. You can learn more from others about love and being loved, and you should worry less about your career and your everyday life. Shouldn't allow relationships with your colleagues or business associates take over your life, and it would be more wise for this particular placement to try to be more spiritual and dedicate their life to exploring spirituality. Next, we have South Node in Libra. People who have a South Node in Libra are attentive and kind, and they usually harbor really beautiful feelings, although they don't always show it. They want approval of others too much, and they can be too dependent, which can impede them from having their own destiny. Their strengths are being dependable, spiritual, and introspective, but they can also procrastinate and be domineering. The South Nodes in Libra have a tendency to need to please and make others feel good in their presence, but this might be a way that they are hiding some of their pain. They need to merge with others and be dependent, so sometimes they may come across as opportunistic and needy. This particular South Node needs to be at peace with their own decisions and stop trying to focus on pleasing others so much. Next, we have the South Node in Scorpio. People with this particular South Node are very passionate about their goals, and they are also known to be more spiritual than those around them. They are living in both an agony and ecstasy state. They're used to advancing in life by suffering, so when peaceful times come, they can continue to feel tense and anticipate pain over and over again. Their challenges, their strengths, first, they're ambitious, direct, talented, and adventurous, but challenges are that they can be pessimistic and possessive. People in this particular node can heal others, but they also need to be careful because they may be possessive, jealous, and envious. So those are things to watch out for with that sign. Next, we have the South Node in Sagittarius. People with this particular South Node prioritize having fun and interacting with people and see anything as a new and great opportunity. They are sociable, honest, adventurous, and witty, but their challenges are that they can be obstinate and insecure. It can be difficult sometimes for this particular South Node to give up power. So they can be fun and they love having fun and social interaction and communication. It makes them very happy. However, they may feel that only their view or their belief is right. For them, the world is never just black and white. Their mind is continuously expanding. There may be a tendency to hold some beliefs and views without having all of the facts. So this particular South Node is all about developing the mind and developing the beliefs. And of course, that's so we don't repeat the same patterns over and over again. Next, we have the South Node in Capricorn. And the South Node in Capricorn people need to learn to make more time for their families and leave aside material ambitions, because that is not what's going to bring them satisfaction. The strengths of this particular sign are that they're determined, authoritative and straightforward, but challenges can be that they are anxious, insecure, and controlling. They can often allow the outside world and their ambitions keep them from becoming better on the inside because they may hold on to material things too much. They have the desire to own everything and to control everything, and they take their responsibilities seriously. So one of the lessons of this particular South Node sign is to learn to depend on others, to allow themselves to show weakness without feeling insecure about it. They shouldn't fear what others think, and they need to allow their instinct to have to rule everything behind so that they can become more happy, balanced, and satisfied. That brings us to South Node in Aquarius. People who have a South Node in Aquarius are expansive, quick to make new friends because they enjoy belonging to groups. They are not personally involved, so when it comes to the glorification of themselves, they completely leave it behind. They are supportive, confident, and balanced, but they can also be criticizing, rushed, and harsh. They seem to know what they need to do in their lives, and when it comes to being fair, they prefer to teach themselves things and to shine among others because they're aware of their big destiny. They have a tendency to rely on those who can still let them down in life, and they can seem impersonal and cold when interacting with others. They fear being in the spotlight as well as taking risks, so they may just simply become members of their community and give up their individualism. So they may need to work on not just simply becoming a member of the pack, but instead standing out and not fearing the spotlight. All right, and lastly, we have the South Node in Pisces. People who have a South Node in Pisces need to remain anchored in reality and not allow their problems to accumulate. People with a South Node in Pisces tend to want to avoid details and the everyday matters of life, and they can have an undisciplined way of living. They don't want to set goals for themselves, and they trust their big plans too much while ignoring and not taking care of practical little matters. They are idealistic, ambitious, gentle, and caring, but they can be disorganized and overly emotional. People with a placement in this sign tend to just let life happen to them, but they need to learn how to have precise objectives and focus on discipline so that they can put themselves in control of their own life. If they are compassionate, they can end up being used by others. So they should be focusing on setting limits, and that will help them to also put more confidence in themselves and to become more productive and focused as well, so that they can learn to pay better attention to detail in their life. When you have a more structured life, you can achieve more goals in an orderly fashion. In a past life, they may have spent too much time fantasizing and not really having their feet planted firmly on the ground. So that may be one thing that they need to focus on in this lifetime, is to, again, not be up in the clouds with their head in the clouds, just allowing life to happen, but instead focusing on goals and becoming a little more orderly. All right, well, that was super interesting, and I know that I can certainly relate to the themes that my own South Node told me. Again, these are themes that come from our past lives, and they tell us where we kind of lie in our comfort zones. But if we really want to focus on where we're going, then we look back at our North Node for that. So it's sort of a balance between the North and the South Node. South was where we were, what past life lessons we brought with us, what we already know coming into this world. And the North Node is where we want to go, what we need to work on so that we can develop ourselves and get to where we want to be. Well, I hope that those messages were helpful and that it gave you a little bit of insight as to maybe why you do the things that you do. Once we understand our behavior, it's easier for us to try to change it for the better. So I wanted to pull a card for you today. So two came out. The first one is let go of the need to control and take a break. Rest assured, your prayers have been heard. Now you just need to wait for divine timing. I love that. And some of our South Node told us that we need to let go of control. For those of us that's an issue, this is your sign. We really need to be working on letting go of control issues. The next card that came out is Find Your Center. Your outside world is a reflection and a manifestation of what's going on inside you at this time. When the outside world becomes so hectic and stressful that your anxiety starts to overwhelm you, then this is an ideal moment to stop and ask, when was the last time I checked in with myself? I love that. Yeah, it's really necessary sometimes to do that. And we keep getting lots of messages about taking a break. So make sure that you are resting, that you are doing things to take care of yourself. It is not selfish. Self-care is extremely important. So I hope that you find some time today to do something that makes you happy and something that you love so that you can regroup and bring yourself back to balance. If you guys want to work with me or book a reading with me, those are available on my website. Just go to melissaoatman.com. And from my shop page, you can look at all of the services I offer and purchase from the website and then reach out to me to schedule. You can also follow me on social media. And if you would like to purchase my book or my card deck that I have, that's all available on my website as well. I hope you guys have a beautiful day today from wherever you're listening. As always, I am sending you so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.